2024 has officially come to a close, and with that, it's time to look back at the best moments from this year. While not a terribly active year for my channel in terms of trains, it was still a phenomenal year to be trackside. And this is going to be a top 10 list of my best catches from this year. Now, to make this list, I must have taken a video of the train solely focused on the train itself, so photos or videos of a train that is not in the focus will not count for this video. But still, I had 91 individual trains that I had to go over and choose what would be on this list. And I feel like I've come up with a pretty good list. So anyways, here are my top 10 train catches of 2024. And real quick, I do apologize for not posting any sort of year recap in 2023. That was a terrible oversight on my part, but hopefully this will be able to make up for it. And I also apologize for my inconsistent voice quality. This was recorded during multiple different takes, and also I wasn't feeling quite right a few of the takes, so if my voice sounds a little bit groggy, I apologize for that. And you know what? I've been yapping for enough. Let's get right into number 10. For my number 10 pick, I chose CP6306 at the Clarkwood, Corpus Christi area. I've seen a CP-SD60 running on its own, and I've also seen both of these engines sitting idly, but this was the first time that I was able to film them both running on the same train and with 6306 leading. This was a shot that I have waited for well over a year to get, and even though the lighting wasn't perfect, it worked out in the end. And I'm really glad to have seen these two engines working together. For number 9, I have BNSF 1829 at Brownwood, Texas. I've always had a soft spot for standard cab locomotives and BNSF locomotives, as well as the BNSF H4 paint scheme, so wrapping this all up into a single package is really, really nice. And not only that, I've always had a soft spot for the yard jobs at Brownwood, and this November I was able to get 2 SD40-2s navigating through the yard amongst heavy maintenance away presents, which cued a barrage of warning blasts on the locals or yard jobs air horn. It's good stuff. My trip to Minnesota in July really stole the show for most of these spots. For this catch, BNSF GP38-2 number 2267 and GP40M 3001 fly by the small community of Luce, Minnesota, about halfway between Perm and Frazee. It was really awesome to get an XBN Jeep leading, and even better, it was in the H1 paint scheme with a Leslie RS3L air horn, only the second that I've ever recorded on a train locomotive on my channel. Number 7 is a sleeper pick, CSX 3424 at Cow Island, Texas. Form, power, and fog shots are some of my favorite things, and combining them with perfect timing in the middle of the night was just a magical experience. The odds of all this combining, I have no clue. Again, this was perfect timing. I just rolled up to the crossing and the gates went down. And well, the rest is history. number 6 is Union Pacific 4404 on an office car special in Driscoll, Texas. I had seen this train coming for hours on Heritage Units apps, watching other rail fans conversing about it, and after school let out, my father and I made a mad dash to Driscoll, and it left me with my best SLR video of the year, as honestly the cleanest SD70M I've ever seen basically was pulling every single OCS car UP had with a really nice horn, so this was just a total win. While I was unable to get an Amtrak Texas Eagle train this year, I did manage to wake up early in Perm and walk over a mile and wait 90 minutes to get this Empire Builder with 2 Siemens Chargers up front, both in separate paint schemes. This one is a solid fit for number 5. Number 4 is probably the worst lit shot on this list. However, CP8757 was leading this quartet of locomotives reversing through Robstown. I was just driving through the town and suddenly saw this engine leading and it starts to reverse. Luck was on my side this year, probably more than any other. For number 3, I have a real sleeper pick, but this one is so high on my list because of the sheer surprise. A non-rebuilt early Union Pacific AC-44, a non-rebuilt CSX AC-44 in YN2, and a Union Pacific GP60 in Southern Pacific patches, all moving at well over 55 miles per hour. This was just an amazing surprise from the Mineola subdivision, and honestly, this probably is objectively the biggest rail fanning surprise I had this entire year, just because I never saw this coming. At number 2 is the GN400 in Duluth, Minnesota. I visited the Railroad Museum there and was able to take a ride in first class on the 1 p.m. Duluth Zephyr, which was, of course, powered by the first ever production EMD SV45 ever built. Just getting to ride first class on this train, then getting to film the return trip while I was in the concessions car was just, it was phenomenal. This train had so much history surrounding it, and it's an experience that is going to be a core memory in my life. Getting to ride this train was just freaking amazing. Now, before my number one pick, I want to give out 6 honorable mentions. These are some of my favorite train shots of all time, but they couldn't make the list, either due to the train not moving in a video, the train moving in a video but the video not focusing on the train, or the trains being photographed instead of videoed. But still, 6 different individual moments from 2024. So anyways, let's get into them. And what better way to begin than heading back to the Railroad Museum in Duluth, where I got this overhead shot of DMIR number 193, I believe, reversing into the station for its turn on the Duluth Zephyr. This one did not make the list because this video was not solely focused on that train. Another similar shot, a video of a stopped train, included Norfolk Southern 1073 in the port of Corpus Christi. The Penn Central Heritage Unit is actually the first Norfolk Southern Heritage Unit I've ever seen, and now the only NS Heritage Unit I've seen multiple times. And now we get into the photographed special interest units. So anyways, this is going to be kind of a rapid fire round, so here we go. BNSF 5872 in Staples, Minnesota. CP 8939 in Robstown, Texas. CP 8876, also in Robstown, Texas. And BNSF 191, 681, 153, 1914, and 1981, all in Sealy, Texas. And now, on to my number one pick of the 2024 rail fanning season, and come on y'all, this one should have been obvious from the start. Number one is CP 2816 in Calallen, Robstown, and Banquette, Texas. The Final Spike Tour, for me, is probably going to be a once-in-a-lifetime event to see mainline steam power in South Texas. But not only that, the 2816 came with my first CP Heritage SD70 ACU, as well as my first instances of seeing the CP OCS F units, as well as all of the new varnish on all these new OCS cars. This was just... It was a moment in railfan history that is never going to be repeated. This train went from Calgary all the way to Mexico City, and of course, there were some problems, but while it was going down south, it was just a jovial time for the railfan world, and it's a moment that I'm glad to have participated in. And that's gonna wrap up this video. Thank you so much for watching all the way to the end, and thank you to all of the supporters in real life and online of my channel through all of these years. Looking forward to 2025 to be an even better year. Catch y'all next time.